Hello again, grade 7s. In today's lesson, I'm going to show you how to add integers using a different method, and that method is going to involve using a number line. I suspect at some point you've seen a number line before, but if you haven't, I'll kind of just clarify how it works. Really, all a number line is just one axis from the Cartesian plane. So for the number line you see right here, this would just represent the x-axis. And in the center of the number line, you have the origin or 0. If you go towards the right, you go up by positive numbers. So that first line would be +1, +2, +3, +4, +5, and so on. And then if you go towards the left, you have your negative numbers. So you have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and so on. You can also have vertical number lines. So a vertical number line would look something like this here. And maybe you have like the origin in the middle. And then for a vertical number line, if you go up, just like the y-axis, you'd have your positive numbers, like +1, +2. And if you go down, you'd have your negative numbers, -1, -2. Okay, so they can be either vertical or they can be horizontal. Now, to represent integers with a number line, we're going to follow these steps. So you need a reference point to start from, and that reference point we're always going to start from is at the origin. And then we're going to look at our first integer and identify whether it's positive or negative. If the integer is positive, then we're going to draw an arrow that points towards the right by however many units the numerical value of the integer is. So for example, if you had an integer of +3, it'd mean draw an arrow that starts at the origin and goes 3 units to the right. Or if we had a vertical number line, +3 would mean starting at the origin, draw an arrow that goes 3 units up. If your integer is negative, then we're just going to go in the reverse direction. So if you had, for example, -3, -3 would mean starting from the origin, we're then going to draw an arrow going towards the left if it's a horizontal number line, or down if it's a vertical number line. And then we make the arrow go left or down depending on how many units the numerical value of the integer is. So for -3, we'd go 3 spots over to the left or 3 spots down. When we add the second integer, we need to start a second arrow at the place where the first arrow ends. So just to show you an example right here of 1. So I have a number line and I have a couple of arrows representing integers here. So the first integer would be the one that is starting from the origin. So that's going to be this one, the starting point right here. If I look at this arrow, it goes 1, 2, 3 spots towards the left. So this integer would be represented by -3. And again, when we write integers, we like to put them in brackets. Now, the second integer here, well, it starts where the first integer is going to end. So my starting point here would then be the arrow goes 2 units towards the right. Right is positive, so I could represent this arrow with the integer +2. If I want to write down an addition statement, the addition statement for this integer would be -3 plus +2 would be equal to. Now, the answer, in terms of what the integer addition is equal to, look at where the second integer ends. The second integer ends at, just draw a line like vertically downward. The second integer ends at, well, this should be lining up with -1 here if it was drawn correctly. So the answer would be -3 plus +2 is -1. That would be my addition statement that's being represented by that diagram. So you kind of just like to draw the integers on the number line. It's just like following directions on a road map. So you'd start always at the origin, and then the first integer you're going to go left or right, up or down by however many units. And then the second integer, you always start where the first integer is going to end. Let's do a few examples here to reinforce this. First one, I have a positive 7 plus negative 9 is equal to, and we want to do this again using a number line. And then b, negative 3 plus positive 8 is equal to. Now I have two horizontal number lines here. So the first thing I would do is like I'd interpret what direction these integers are telling me to go. So positive 7 on a horizontal number line means we're going to go towards the right. Negative 9 on a number line would mean that we're going to go towards the left. The way I would draw this is, again, starting at the origin, we want to draw an arrow to represent the first integer. So the first integer is positive 7. So it means draw an arrow that goes 7 units to the right. So starting right here, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to end up right here. And if I draw an arrow to represent this, points towards the right, and let's just label the integer. We're going to call this one positive 7. The next one says then go left by 9 units. So we always start at the end of where the first integer is going to end up, and then we go left. We're going to go left from there. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I draw that integer starting from the end of the first one, and then I just go straight over to where it finishes. And we can label that integer as negative 9. If you look at where the integer ends, we go vertically downward to the number line. So here's 0. This is negative 1. This is negative 2. If I want to write down the addition statement now, in terms of like what this integer addition is equal to, it'd be positive 7 plus negative 9 would be equal to negative 2. And we'll just box that answer to make it stand out. Next one, I have negative 3 plus positive 8. So on a horizontal number line, the negative means you want to go towards the left, and the positive means you want to go towards the right. We always start at the origin. So starting at the origin, we're going to go left by 3 units. So starting here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3 spots over to the left. So if I draw an integer arrow to represent that, it would look like this. Label it negative 3. And the next one is going to be starting where the first one ends. We're then going to go right by 8 units. So we'd start here and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we end up at this spot. And if we draw that and label it as positive 8, and then your answer is going to be wherever the second arrow ends up. So that's going to be straight down here. And if we count this on the number line, we've got positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4, positive 5. If you rewrite the addition statement out, it'd be negative 3 plus positive 8 is equal to positive 5. Now, this one's going to be working backwards. So in this one here, we're actually given the diagram showing the different arrows representing the integers, and all we want to do is write down what the addition statement is. I did something similar to this on the first slide. Okay, so look at the number line, and the first integer is going to be the one that starts from 0. So that's going to be this bottom one here. Excuse me. Okay, so this one goes towards the left by 1, 2 units. So this integer would be left is negative, -2. This integer right here goes towards the right, so it's going to be positive, and it goes right by 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be positive 4. To write the addition statement, we then have -2 plus positive 4 will be equal to, where do you end up? Second arrow ends up there. Positive 2 is my answer. B, again, the first integer is the one that starts from 0. So this one right here goes towards the right by 7 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right is positive, and we go over by 7 units. And then from the end of the first arrow, that's where the second one starts. And this one goes towards the left, so it's going to be negative, and it goes left by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Left is negative. We hopped over 8 spots. And then if we write down the addition statement, I'd have positive 7 plus -8 is equal to, just look at where this one ends at, go straight down, it ends at -1. I guess I should put brackets up here for this guy. Last one. So once again, first integer starts from 0. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towards the left. Left is negative, so this first arrow is going to be representing the integer -5. The next integer starts from where the first one ends, and we go towards the right by 1, 2 units. So that would be positive 2. And then when I write the addition statement, it'd be -5 plus positive 2 will be equal to, look at where it ends up at. Well, it should be ending up at this tick line right here, and that should be -3. Personally, I prefer this method compared to the integer chips, but either way, we just need to demonstrate our understanding of integers pictorially using two different methods. Number lines are more common than using the actual integer chips.